Om Shanti. Today's chapter is a common but special personality. In this bewildering atmosphere lived one individual of the Sindh community in the city of Hyderabad who was very different from the rest. He was called by the name Dada. His full name was Dada Lekhraj. Though by birth he was an ordinary man, Dada was full of many special qualities. When present among a throng of people, his charisma attracted attention at once, and one felt the natural humility and sincerity of his nature. Even more, one felt the strength of his character and magnetic attraction of his eyes. He was always clean, fresh, and simply dressed. His way of living, his gentlemanly manner, and his true spiritual devotion won him friends everywhere. Dada's worth was recognized by the whole community of Sindhis. He had often proven to be a rock, a symbol of solidity and dependability in the shifting sands of an unstable world. Though born in a middle class family, Dada rose quickly in his profession through hard work and honesty, combined with cleverness and a focused intellect, to achieve a position among the wealthy and become one of the richest men of India. Even more unusual, he was one of the few men with whom everyone was satisfied. His family, friends, neighbors, his business contacts too. It is a rare individual who is truly dear to others, not merely useful to them, and who, in turn, has an equal amount of love for them. Dada Lekhraj was such a person. Family background. Dada Lekhraj was born in 1876 in Sindh to the Kripalani family, who were devotees of the Vallabhacharya sect of what is called the Hindu religion. Dada's father was a schoolmaster by profession, but his son decided early not to follow his father's footsteps. Dada began his own career in a small way as a merchant of wheat, and he saved all he could from his meager earnings. When he had set aside sufficient funds to embark on a more ambitious enterprise, he entered the diamond trade. Almost by instinct, he developed great expertise in discriminating the value of different gems. In a very short time, his reputation grew and his business became more and more profitable. In time, Rajas and Maharajas of the native states of India, as well as the British Viceroy, became his clients and his friends. The King of Nepal and the King of Valaipur treated him as an honored guest. He was invited to all court functions and was afforded the utmost respect. In this connection, one of Dada's daughters-in-law, a woman named Radhika, later to become B.K. Dadi Brijendraji, a member of the King's Circle in Bombay at that time, and has now for many years been the person in charge of the Brahma Kumaris University in that area, writes the following recollection. The kings who came in contact with Dada had so much trust in him that they gave him permission to enter their palaces at will, without waiting for an invitation or even informing the king beforehand. Other businessmen had to give their articles to the king's representative and wait for a reply. But when Dada came, the Rajmata, Queen Mother, himself would call him in to show the diamonds to her daughters and daughters-in-law. All those who lived in the royal palace, Rajmahal of the kings, knew of Dada's religious faith, his pure nature and conduct. Many times, kings used to tell him, "It is God's mistake that he made us kings, but not you." because all kingly qualities and powers are in you. In fact, God had not made a mistake, because those kings were kings in name only, while God was to inspire Dada to make such spiritual effort that he would earn divine kinship. The respect which the kings gave to Dada was unprecedented. They sent him special invitations and gave him a reserved seat of honor in the court. Once by invitation, we, Dada's family, were all staying with the king of Valaipur in his palace. There was to be a great court function that day. When it began, Dada was sitting in the gallery opposite the king. The king saw that Dada's family were not with him. Dada's wife, Jashoda, had decided to receive the blessing of a visiting saint, Srinathji, and was to come to the celebration later. The king had such respect for Dada that he ordered the proceedings halted until, until we had all gathered. The king had sent his prime minister with a special invitation to call upon us. When we arrived, the king greeted us with a tremendous reception. A band appeared and music played for us, and we were ceremonially installed in our places of honor in the gallery. Later, the king even arranged for a carriage to be sent for our use to make another visit to Srinathji, since he knew we wanted to spend more time with him. The driver of the carriage remarked to us that he had never before seen such an honor accorded to any other guest. The functions of the court were simply never stopped like that. Dada did not have much formal education, but by studying on his own, he had achieved a fine command of the Sindhi language. He also studied philosophic and religious texts written in Hindi. He was well versed in the Gurumukhi and Guru Granth Sahib scriptures. In addition, he was a fluent reader of English. Moreover, Dada possessed the special art of letter writing. His style was brief but accurate and filled with memorable images. He had a refined appreciation of literature and art, a taste for the captured moment, the realization, the glimpse of truth in any form. In his business career, he was gifted in creating new designs in jewelry, never copying the work of another. We reach the next chapter, that is devotion and discipline. From his childhood, Dada was a great devotee of Narayan. He was so fond of remembering this deity king, whom he thought to be a form of God, that he used to keep pictures of Narayan in his hall of worship, in his bedroom under his pillow, in his vault, in his office, and in his pocket, so that whatever he did and wherever he was, he could see the figure of that divine being. In the bazaars through which Dada passed, color pictures were sold of Narayan. Sometimes the pictures would show Narayan in a supine posture, with Lakshmi, his queen, massaging his legs as though she were a maid. Dada did not like this picture. Surely, he thought, such an idea could not enter the mind of such a deity king. Dada felt that the capacity of women was not one iota less than that of men, and that it was ridiculous to treat them less than equally. Such were his feelings that he sought to find the painter of the offending pictures and commissioned him to repaint them to show the equal elevation of the divine couple. Dada's devotion was consistent and fearless. Whether in the midst of a business deal or in some domestic function, when the time came to perform his worship, he never missed the opportunity. He excused himself from others if necessary, but never made excuses to himself. Even while traveling, he read the prescribed chapter from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Dada believed in the Gita implicitly. In describing Dada's faith and his worship, his daughter-in-law B.K. Dadi Brijendraji writes as follows. The Maharajas, the wealthy clients, and the business leaders with whom Dada was in contact used to visit him as his guests, and their arrival often coincided with the time Dada had to do his puja or worship. But Dada would not postpone or cut short these religious activities. Moreover, he would not compromise his style of living. His way of eating, for example, was sattvic, pure. At Dada's dinner parties, no alcohol or cigarettes would ever be allowed. His VIP guests were unaccustomed to such simplicity, and they used to joke that Dada's parties are certainly without flair. Dada would reply with a gleam in his eye and a slight laugh. Shall we spoil our religion for your sake? You only give us paper notes, and in return, we give you diamonds. They used to laugh hearing this. Dada also put aside time to go on pilgrimages. He visited Tandura, Amarnath, Prayag, Vrindavan, and Kashi. He often invited wandering sadhus and sannyasis to be his house guests overnight. He enjoyed conversing with them on their religious understanding. Always, Dada was bursting with life. He was a happy man. He had great faith in his own gurus, and he used to spend thousands of rupees holding receptions for them. He gave tremendous importance to the commands of the guru. B.K. Tadi Brijendraji has several illuminating reminiscences about this. In those days, Dada had great faith in his guru. Once the guru came to his house with a big crowd of students. Dada welcomed them all with great love. He had so much devotion and concern for their happiness that he ordered boxes full of bottles of rose water. And in the morning and the evening, the scent was sprinkled about the resting rooms. Dada himself used to sprinkle the rose water, and he would light an incense stick as well. He didn't wish the guru be disturbed during his period of rest. Not even a stray dog should interfere with the guru's sleep, he felt. Dada paid someone especially to perform the duty of guarding the guru's rest. Though there were no mangoes in season at that time of the year, still Dada hunted ceaselessly until he located some because he knew the guru liked them. He always brought the mangoes without fail, though they cost him a small fortune per fruit. Dada obeyed even the slightest command of his guru, regardless of the circumstance. Once on the occasion of the name-giving ceremony of his grandchild, to which many famous personalities had been invited, Dada suddenly received a wire from his guru that there was some urgent work for him and to come soon. Dada told his wife, Jashoda, to call off dinner and prepare his clothes because he had to go. Jashodaji could not believe it. How can you go away on such an occasion? Dada then said, to hear words coming from the Guru is like hearing words from the Lord of Death. If death comes, could I tell him to wait by saying that today is the day of the naming of my grandchild? Jashodaji gathered the family and we made phone calls to all friends and those invited, explaining that Dada had to leave town suddenly for some special reason. And what had been the Guru's urgent work as it turned out? He wanted Dada to give 10,000 rupees to one of his students who had lost all his money gambling. The stories about Dada's charitable activities were well known, although he did have a strong competitor within his own family. One of his uncles, Mulchand Arala, an ivory merchant, was famous as a donor to the poor. Often Dada would go to his uncle's home and sit beside him, and together they would help out. They would hand out their money to the lines of people in need of help. In this philanthropy, Dada was a full partner with his uncle. Om Shanti. Tomorrow we'll look into Dada's devotion.
Shanti.
Thank you. Bye.